Okay, good morning, everyone. We have a very special guest on our call today. I want to talk today about qualifying for incentives and how we can utilize not just the Niken compensation plan, but the incentive programs that they have put in place to help us to advance our businesses, not just to perform better, but to get better results and better rewards. One thing that I love about Niken, or let me backtrack. One thing that I love about the compensation plan, every compensation plan, ideally, but definitely with Niken, should be designed to steer you towards the right behaviors and steer you away from the wrong behaviors. Okay, and we recognize that as people join Niken, there are a lot of people that don't know what are best practices. How do I run my own business? What is the best way to build? They are new to entrepreneurship. They're new to network marketing. And as a result of that, may not know which direction to go. So the compensation plan is typically designed to steer people, if they follow it with purpose, it will steer them towards the most rewarding activities. And it'll give you some dead ends if you're trying to go down the wrong track. That's deliberate. So we have a program here that is designed with our compensation plan that deliberately rewards the best activities. And I was asked the other day, how do you describe your compensation plan? And I said, it's really simple. We create at least 3 sales teams. And these sales teams, we can build online or offline. They can be as big or as small as we want them to be. And we get rewarded for the success of our teams. Every commission earned is the result of a product sold to a customer, which means the better we do, the better we do. It's really nice. And that was it. And it was like, well, why do you have three sales teams? Because you want to have balance in your business. That's what it's all about. You want to sit on a balanced stool. And that is the metaphor that I frequently use. No one wants to sit on a one-legged stool. You want to have balance and security and stability. And that's what our business is all about. We can go as wide as we want and as deep as we choose and get that volume growing, and it rewards us accordingly. Now, this is the next best thing. On top of that, Niken has put together incentive programs that work on a month-by-month basis, on a quarterly basis, and on an annual basis, which gives us short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals in little bite-sized chunks. In the long term, if we're looking real long-term, then short-term would be a year for regular businesses, mid-term would be 2 to 3 years, and long-term might be 5 years and beyond, where they go that way. But for us, as micro businesses, which is what we are here, they're saying, let's look at 1 month, 3 months, and 12 months for activity. And I like that: short-term, mid-term, long-term goals. And of course, we get the rewards for participating as a result. The great thing is this is over and above the Niken compensation plan, which means you get to kind of double dip. You get rewarded for building your business the right way through the comp plan. Then you get rewarded again by participating in the incentive programs. So today I've asked Ruth Lowe. Ruth, if you want to unmute your line, I've asked Ruth to join us. She's a member of our Team Kaizen team, has been for as long as I can remember. She participates and qualifies year on year. I've asked Ruth specifically today to join us to talk about some of her strategies. I'm going to break it down to 3 areas: her strategies, her vision, her strategies, and then her behaviors. Because in order to qualify and participate and get results, we need to focus on these 3 areas. We start with a clear vision, we move into a defined strategy, and then we break that down into daily and weekly tactics or behaviors in order to grow. So Ruth, let's start with your vision. We've worked together a little bit now for the last couple of years.
That's a few years now.
Yeah. So tell me your vision. What drives you to qualify?
So every year it has been upgraded, so to say. We've done Team Kaizen 3 years, and this past year we've done Team Tai Chi. And every year, as we look what we want to accomplish for the year, it has shifted to a higher level. So this year for us, it's not just us focusing on obtaining Team Tai Chi, but also supporting our teams so that we will have team members that will achieve Club Ki and also Team Kaizen. So it's a little bit different, but knowing that that is what is on our board. So our whiteboard has the Team Tai Chi. It also has a list of active team builders that we put Team Kaizen on. So that we have to understand what we want to see at the end of the tunnel for us, right? So that is our bigger picture for us.
Yeah.
And it's changed over the years.
Yeah. What's your why? What's the driving why behind it? Because there's a lot of work that goes into it. So what's the why?
Well, it's different for Robert and myself. For him, he loves the tax write-off. He's very driven by the tax write-off for the business. He loves that I can expense everything. For me, it's because I want to have the extra money to do all the play things that I love to do and that we've always done with our Naked Money. And the fact that we can help. I mean, it's very, very exciting when we have team members that do well, right? If they're on the top 10 list if they get, when they get Club Ki, even those that we mentor that are not on our teams. So all that, I mean, I get off the phone, like I mentioned to you once before, I get off the phone, I'm like, I'm flying, and it wasn't for my achievements or our achievement, it was for their achievements. And so there's many parts of our why. It gives me the freedom that I've always had for 20 years. And I want that to continue. And it's an example for my children. My son is an entrepreneur, I know, because he saw me do my business at home. And my daughter too, she knows that there's another option. She talks about different side hustles that she wants to do. That's not typical, you know, so I think it's the exposure. So there's many reasons for us to do our business. Yeah.
I love that. I want each of you to just make a note right now. Maybe if you got paper handy, write it down. I think this is really important because if we don't have this aspect specifically clear in our mind, we're going to very, very much struggle with the other two aspects in order to achieve our goals. Because strategy and tactics are always driven by vision. And where, as the old proverb says, where there is no vision, the people perish. Yeah, so it's really important because especially if you're running for something like Team Kaizen, which is an annual program or incentive, you're gonna come up against some walls from time to time. You're gonna hit some barriers. There's gonna be some obstacles getting in your way. You're gonna get frustrated. There's gonna be some rainy days that come your way. And what keeps you going during those times? It's always your vision, isn't it? So Ruth, tell me, have there been any obstacles that you've come up against as you've been running for Team Kaizen in the past? And how
yes, many. Daily, I have to admit that at dinner, I'll say to Robert, oh, that didn't go as well as I thought it should go. Or we'll chat during lunch, you know, what happened? I'm like, that didn't go well either. So it happens a lot. But I also know that you know, everybody in their own time. For me, it's not about pushing, persuading, or convincing. It's about respecting and building a relationship. And it goes where it goes. So I don't have I have expectations, but I don't know many times where my discussion is going to end up. I know where I'd like it to be. Of course, I want to manifest that, but I also have to allow it to be what it's supposed to be, right? It's what's more important for me is to make sure I do what's best for them, whoever I'm speaking with. And so and there are a lot more not so great interactions versus great interactions, but that's okay because I know that there will be great interactions. So so we do have a lot of ups and downs.
A lot of no's, lots of ups and downs, and what have you.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask someone else a question, if that's all right, Ruth.
Of course.
Madeline, can you unmute your line for just a second? Because you're also a Team Kaizen member as well, and you are famously known for being out there and about and talking with people and interacting with others and constantly serving others. And as a result of that, I don't know, maybe sometimes people might anticipate or expect that as a result of your good nature, Ruth's good nature, and so on, that the results come easy to you. Tell me, is that the case? How do you feel?
No, they don't come easy at all. And it's a 23-year journey here. And
Yeah.
it's 2 years for the person who contacted me. I, had been prospected for other network marketing companies as a nurse. She was a nurse. I thought magnets that helped you heal, she felt better. She told me her story. I didn't believe it. But so I want to connect the past to the present. So when I saw her after 2 years of her calling me, I knew the products worked. Then, because of having attended a couple other meetings of other nurse colleagues, at that time, healthcare was downsizing and restructuring like we are in the world today as a result of COVID. The job market is changing. And so learning that there could be an equal opportunity for people of unequal backgrounds. I had always promoted in the healthcare system, the hierarchy by education was how you were able to encouraging and counseling staff to go on to get a degree for a better position, single parents, et cetera. And so what I saw was the opportunity to create teams, use my background, and help others have a future. So that has always been there. And then to be able to leave a legacy. That from the very beginning. Well, over the years, as the business and mine, particularly ups and downs and so forth, I'm more excited than ever today. And I'd like to put it in the perspective of where we are today with Vision 2025. So my original life cycle charts, I probably have about 20 of them, always was to leave a legacy. A family foundation or something. I've shared on some other calls. My mother was the youngest of 8, similar to you, Ben, and my dad was the oldest of 8. And there isn't anyone with either family name. So I have this foundation that I started. So in my instance, my why, I heard you ask Ruth that, my overall why is to be able to leave a legacy. Well, I'm going to be 74 this year. So all of a sudden, I'm quite excited about what's happening now that we're and so the vision was always there. The trip to Italy, so you're talking about incentives, and you were on that trip, so was Ruth. So there was a core group of us on that trip to Italy that bonded, and Luis was brand new. And the past 2.5 years, the past 5.5 years, actually, since you came on board as president, I think that's about 7 years ago, the direction, the trajectory for us has really changed. So for me, it's been quite exciting to be able to be a part of helping to attract an important team member, I think, to help attract the next generation. And so the whole company, the future trajectory, and then my vision fits along with that. So we talk about our vision, the company's vision, and then, as Ruth said, anybody that I've talked to on all 23 years, I learned from the very beginning, show the 5 pillars of health. Which one of these or 2 are most out of balance? Where do you want to go? And then find something for them. So that's exactly what I do. And so my story now, actually, you can all look at daverolf.com, and Ben, your story, Mike's story, mine, and who was the other one? His own, I guess. He interviewed. And so our stories were all a little bit different and our why was a little bit different, but it's the same thing. It's important for us to present to others once we listen to what they may be interested in. And you just redid that on the A Better Way link that we have, is that we have both a business opportunity. And is that not greater today with what's happened in COVID and the economy? And from a health perspective. So since that's been my career for 55, 57 years now, I know the impact of living in a wellness home. I know what's happening to the cost of healthcare, and we all know what's happened with the pandemic. So I think we have a beautiful opportunity, and I present it that way, that vision, and that it may not be for you. And if you're interested in sleep or water or whatever, you have a family member, you have neighbors, always ask for the referrals and come and learn and go through a discovery process with us. That's what we do. But we're really on a new phase of growth here. So we're really looking for all people in all categories. So that's how I'm presenting it now. But has there been a lot of learning? Yes. So my background, and it's okay to say that, teachers, and so I taught and administered, and that's different than the entrepreneurial mindset. So it's not, you said your wife was a controller, I'm a controller. So we're used to directing and telling and organizing and delegating. And this is about empowering and inviting and, you know, mentoring in a different way. And so it's a matter of learning new skills. And attracting others around us and working in cross-line teams so that we complement and help one another. I love the collaborative entrepreneurship. I love our collaboration of three-way calls. So I just tell the story based upon like what I just said now. And that's a lot of practice.
I love that. I think it's interesting for those of you, I'm not sure if any of you picked up on this, but Madeline mentioned how her vision boards have changed over the years. She's always wanted to leave a legacy, but it has been evolutionary and transformative. And I think this is really important for us to understand that that is okay, that we will start out with a particular vision. And as experience teaches us, our vision will change. The guiding principles may remain the same. You know, they may be founded upon and should be founded upon our governing values. And that for Madeline, one of her governing values is to leave a legacy. But the vision that really guides that and steers that might be evolutionary as she goes through and realizes it and brings it to fruition. But I love the alignment of the company has a clear and compelling vision of what we will look like and experience in 2025 and how we're going to get there. And Madeline's really kind of bringing herself in line with that and working to be in tandem. And I think that's exciting. There's the vision board right there.
Ruth has a vision board kind of on productivity, and mine is on the people that are there. I mean, I've pretty much know most of those people. So now it's really empowering others and moving those eagles out of the nest. And so that's where I'm.
Good. And I want to just finish this. I want to finish this last point that Ruth and Madeline and I just discussed here about the ups and downs as we strive towards the realization of our vision. Because when we establish our vision, we're on a high, aren't we? It's exciting. Maybe we come away from a meeting or an event, or we've just joined, or someone's brand new, their vision is clear, or they're creating it. The process of creating vision is exciting. The process of executing it is challenging. There is a difference, isn't there? And so I want to just touch on that for a little bit, because we need to make sure, as long as we keep our vision clear, that's what will give us strength as we execute when it gets tough. There's been research conducted that has shown that when we engage our imagination during times of adversity, our capacity to endure well is increased. When we don't engage our imagination and we rely perhaps solely on willpower alone to get through the tough times, we struggle and we don't have the same endurance. It's interesting that, isn't it? And the reason for that, it's because we focus on the proximity of our pain. If we're just relying on willpower alone, we're focused on the here and now. It hurts here, it hurts now, it's uncomfortable, so I'll let go and I'll move on. And that's what happens. But when we engage our imagination and return to our vision is at a future state, not at the proximity of our pain. It's in a future state, and it's anchored in a place that says that future state is better. And as a consequence of that conviction, my ability to endure is increased and improved. And I get through it at a better rate and with a better sense of accomplishment. So I emphasize that so that when we go through our experience.
You may have to go out and come back in, Ruth. So any questions from anybody that Ruth or I could answer until Ben comes back?
Oh, can you hear me?
Hi.
Oh.
There you are. We lost you for a bit. Okay.
Ah, that's annoying. How much did you lose?
Probably
quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
About 1 to 2 minutes at least.
Ah, and I thought I was giving you my best stuff of the morning today, just then. Okay, let me backtrack just a second then, and hopefully it won't cut out. I apologize for the bad connection. My point was that research has shown that if we focus on the proximity of our pain, if we don't engage our imagination or connect with our vision, then we get preoccupied with the present moment, which is where the pain resides. Yeah, that's where the tough moment exists. It's in the now. So if I'm preoccupied with that place, then I'm having to resort primarily to willpower alone in order to get through it. And that makes it hard. And that can be compromising for many people, because maybe our willpower isn't strong enough when we get confronted with a tough moment. But if we learn to engage our imagination and connect with our vision is not focusing on the proximity of our pain. It's at a future state where a better outcome resides, because that's what our vision is, isn't it? That's a better place. That's what we're working towards. So when I engage my imagination and I connect with my vision and I focus there, then when I hit adversity and difficult times, I'm not simply engaging my willpower. I'm tapping into additional resources. And as a consequence of that, my ability to endure well improves. And then I can get through the tough times. Yeah. So, and this is why, like I said, I wanted to start with vision first, because we will all experience bumps in the road. We will all have times, especially if we're going for long-term goals, such as Team Kaizen, where we're going to hit obstacles, we're going to have people say no to us and so on, where, how do I get past that? Well, it's not just about willpower or grit. It's about having that vision. I've got to be able to project past the immediate point of pain to a better state and have confidence in that, and then move forwards, which is why I love what Madeline said about having the vision of 2025 anchored so deeply in her perspective. So Ruth, I want to jump now to the next point here, which is about strategy. You've got a vision for what you want to achieve. You're helping others. Your vision is changing and it's evolutionary. You mentioned it's changed over the years, and it's a lot about your team. Robert loves the tax write-off, but we've got a strategy here as well to help you get there. Walk us through, what are some of the key elements of your strategy for achievement?
So one of the things I want to add to what you were saying with the vision, yes, we need to have that vision because it solidifies our mindset, right? But for me, I personally need to have little wins along the way. Because that's what motivates me and keeps me going, because I know that there's a win that I can be in control. So I too, I'm a controller. So what I've done at night, I always sit down before I go to bed and I make a list of 3 things that I have to get done tomorrow, because I used to have a list that was like 15 things long, and that was insane. I would get 5 done and I would be disappointed in myself. So I've decided to get 3 things, I get them done, and I always get them done. And then I'm like, yay me, and I can celebrate, and that's a win for me. The other thing that we do is our goals are on a page protector on the refrigerator door. And so every time we are opening the refrigerator, I always read through my goals, and that keeps me focused, because I'm amazed at how often I open that refrigerator door. So it's always there. And then the other thing that helps both of us to just keep on going is that we look at our schedule on Sunday. You know, we'll see, we do our best to book out, not the current week, but the following week. And our goal is always to have at least anywhere between 5 and 8 opportunities to talk to somebody. And that's what we shoot for. So we book about 2 weeks in advance, or a week and a half, I guess. And we look to see what days or what spots are open for us to do some things. And sometimes it's at night, so Robert's with me, and sometimes it's during the day, I do it by myself. But I think those are the things that keep us focused. It's all about, Dan Hardy always talks about being focused. And it's so easy to be distracted, especially now that Robert's working at home, and he'll say, let's go out for a walk. And I'm like, I can't right now, things like that. So I think there's a few pieces of these strategies, which it's not just one thing. I think there's a lot of little pieces that you need to do to keep you going, and you got to create wins for yourself. Otherwise, that can be discouraging.
So let me restate back to you then what Ruth has shared. And again, if you want to bullet point this down, because Ruth shared some nuggets here, which I think are critical. One, she's got an accountability partner in her husband. Not everyone on the call today, or those that are watching, will have a husband or a wife or a spouse or a loved one that they're connecting with in the business, right? But we do have teammates. We do have members of our team that we can partner with. So it's important to recognize an accountability partner plays a big role in helping us in our strategy execution. That's really key. Another thing that she mentioned here, and I'm going to mention some kind of just basic business phrases or language that that reflect what Ruth was talking about. Planning. Every Sunday night, she said she plans. She gets together with her accountability partner. They plan the coming week. What are their goals? They've got their long-term goals that they're working towards, but they break it down into what are we going to do over the next week or two specifically. And so they know specifically this week, what are my goals for the week and what are we going to do? And there's some time management involved in this. Where are the allotted periods of time where we can make that work? I want to emphasize this as something really important. The average networker will spend 10 hours a week building their business. So if that's the case, where is that 10 hours going to be dedicated? We've got to make it count. Otherwise, we can be busy being busy and not busy being effective. And there is a big difference. You know, some people you go, oh, how do you get so much done? Yeah, I've got, and so, well, they've got the same 24 hours in a day. They just manage their time differently. Yeah, they put the things that matter most front and center. What's that old saying? Don't let the things that matter most be at the mercy of the things that matter least. Yeah. So Ruth talked about having an accountability partner. She talked about planning. She talked about goal setting for the short term, time management, and also focus. Focus. So they made it very clear what was most important for the week, where they were going to spend their time, how they were going to do it, what their measurements were, and then they were going to focus very clearly on getting that goal achieved. They've got the overarching vision of what they want to accomplish, but they recognize, bringing back to Ruth's words, that some quick wins along the way also help them keep confidence and keep them motivated. What are your quick wins that you can put in to make sure that it happens? I love that point because, you know, having the quick wins certainly keeps you motivated when you've got long-term goals where significant change or transformation is required. Yeah. Team Kaizen's a big deal, and it asks a lot of anyone that qualifies, doesn't it? So having quick wins along the way certainly helps you in achieving your goals. So we've just come, you know, we've got a minute or so left. So Ruth, yeah, any final thoughts as we talk about goal achievement and working towards Team Kaizen or the incentive programs or anything of that nature that you think would help?
I think you just have to stay focused and know what it is that you want and break it up into pieces that is digestible so that you don't get overwhelmed, because it's not about being overwhelmed. It's about enjoying it and filling your heart with joy. So you need to focus on things that are important in your life, not just for our unique business, but everything. And then see how all the pieces of the puzzle fit in together so that it makes one beautiful picture. And so
to that point, can I just, I know we've just hit the half-hour mark, but if you could just share this, because I loved this experience. We were chatting end of last year, and you were working towards Team Kaizen and
Team Tai Chi
and Team Tai Chi. but Team Tai Chi is like, if it happens, yeah, it may happen, it may not, but
right.
you had a point of view as to how you approached that was really important. Could you just share your perspective, because you qualified and you achieved it, but you had a perspective of, I'm not going to break my back,
right,
and you know, bring this kind of toxic energy into my world, you know, in order to achieve a goal, particularly at a time of Christmas. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
So I think so. So my phone has my affirmation that says, I am Team Tai Chi with grace and with peace. And I look at that every day when it pops up on my phone, because I do want to do it with grace and with peace. It's not about stress and tension.
They were the words I was looking for, because you used that language with me. I want to qualify with grace and peace.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
And that is my focus. Yes. So those are the magic words.
Yeah. Thank you. I love that, because you worked hard throughout the year, but at the same time, you wanted to qualify with grace and peace. You wanted it to be at the right time frame, at the right pace, and I just love that approach. So you did it, which was wonderful, and I think onwards and upwards even further and beyond, because your goals have been progressively getting bigger, which I really love. You've been laying a foundation and then growing, and then laying a foundation and then growing. So I want to commend you for developing a growing business and doing what you're doing here, Ruth. It's truly commendable.
Well, thank you. But then really the credit goes to you, because every time we meet with you, that is what you always are, not pushing us, but gently guiding us towards that mindset. So thank you.
Excellent. Well, absolutely my pleasure. It's a thrill partnering. So ladies and gents, I hope this has been helpful today in understanding how we can work towards achieving our goals. And we've had some two wonderful examples here that are shared, Ruth and Madeline. And I'd love to have Madeline on a little bit more next week to dive into some of her insights and experiences too. But this is just fantastic examples, living, real, present examples of how to build in the current climate with the current business and get real results. And I thank you for your examples. I love what Ruth said before. One of her motivators is that she is an example to her children of what an entrepreneur can look like. And not just to your children, Ruth, you're an example to us as well. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you all. Have a great week. And we will see you at the Seiko Kai event this Saturday. So don't forget to participate and join there, 9 o'clock on Saturday morning. Take care. Bye-bye.
Happy Father's Day, Ben.
Thank you. Bye-bye.